Think about the last time you were in a room full of people speaking English around you. Everyone laughing, everyone connecting, everyone talking. And you were just there, smiling, nodding, but not really part of it, not really in.
Yeah, that feeling has a name. And today, we're going to talk about it.
Welcome to English Talk Sessions. I'm Mia.
And I'm James. And today's episode is called Let's Talk About Making Friends in English.
And before we get into it, just a quick welcome to anyone joining us for the first time. We speak slowly, we keep things real, and this podcast is made for beginner and intermediate English learners. So relax, listen, and enjoy. You're in exactly the right place.
Okay, so Mia, I want to start with something honest, because I think a lot of people assume that once your English gets good enough, making friends just happens naturally. But that was not my experience at all.
Really? Say more about that.
So I could have a conversation in English. I could talk about the weather, talk about work, answer questions, but actually becoming close to someone, actually feeling like, yes, this person is my friend, that felt like a completely different skill, one that nobody taught me.
And I think that's because most English courses teach you language, but they don't teach you connection. And those are two very different things.
Exactly. You can be grammatically perfect and still feel completely alone in a room.
So let's fix that today. Let's talk about how friendships actually start and what you can do to make them happen in English.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that most friendships don't start with a big, deep conversation. They start with something tiny, almost nothing.
Like what?
Okay, I'll give you an embarrassing example. One of my closest friends now, we first connected because we both complained about the weather at the exact same time. That's it. We looked at each other, said, ugh, this rain, simultaneously, and then we both laughed. And that was the beginning.
Aw. And you know what? That is actually a perfect example because that moment had everything a friendship needs to start. A shared experience, a genuine reaction, and a laugh.
Right. And I think learners sometimes put too much pressure on themselves. They think, to make a friend in English, I need to have this long, impressive, fluent conversation. But actually, the smaller, the better at first.
So what are those small moments? What can you actually say to open a door?
The easiest thing is noticing something and saying it out loud. You're in a class and you think, oh, the teacher is really funny. Don't just think it. Turn to the person next to you and say it. She's so funny, right? That one tiny comment opens a door.
And it works because it's shared. You're not talking about yourself. You're pointing at something you're both experiencing together. And shared experience is the foundation of connection.
Another thing that works really well is asking for small help. Hey, did you understand what she said? Or do you know where the bathroom is? It sounds so simple, but it creates a moment of interaction. And moments of interaction, repeated over time, build friendships.
Okay, I want to talk about something that I know a lot of learners find uncomfortable, and that is small talk, because I've heard so many people say, small talk is pointless. Why would I talk about the weather? It's boring, it's meaningless.
I used to think the exact same thing, honestly.
But here's what most people don't realize. Small talk isn't about the topic, it's about the signal. When you do small talk well, when you're warm, when you're interested, when you smile, you're actually telling the other person, I'm safe, I'm friendly, you can relax around me.
Oh, that's a completely different way to look at it. Small talk as a safety signal, not a conversation topic.
Exactly. And once you see it that way, it stops feeling boring and starts feeling useful because you're not trying to say something interesting, you're trying to make someone feel comfortable.
Okay, so what about when you're in a group conversation? Because I think for a lot of learners, one-on-one is manageable, but a group, that's where things get really hard.
Yes, because groups move fast. People jump in, they laugh, they reference things you don't know, and by the time you formed your sentence, the conversation has already moved on.
That happened to me constantly. I would just fade into the background, not because I had nothing to say, but because I couldn't find the moment to say it.
So what helped me was learning a few simple phrases that signal, hey, I have something to say, give me a second. Things like, oh, can I add something? Or wait, actually? Or just, oh, so, and then you say your thing. They're small phrases, but they work.
And honestly, one of the most underrated things you can do in a group is just laugh genuinely when something is funny. Because laughter doesn't require grammar, it doesn't require fluency. It just says, I'm here, I'm present, I'm part of this.
And asking follow up questions is huge too. When someone says something, instead of going quiet, ask more. Oh, really? What happened next? People love being asked about themselves, and it takes the pressure off you to always be the one with something interesting to say.
Reflective. Okay, I want to bring up something a little awkward now. What do you do when someone makes a joke and everyone laughs and you have absolutely no idea which has happened?
Oh my God, yes, this happens.
Because I used to just laugh along and pretend I understood, which sometimes works fine, but sometimes someone then turns to you and says, right, don't you think? And you're nodding and you have no idea what you just agreed to.
Oh, I have been there. That is dangerous territory.
So the better approach is to be honest, but lightly, not formally, just, haha, okay, I think I missed something. What was that? Said with a smile. Most people are happy to explain, and being honest actually builds more trust than pretending.
And here's something I really want to say clearly. The people worth being friends with don't care if your English isn't perfect. If someone makes you feel bad about a grammar mistake or laughs at your accent in a mean way, that person is not someone you want in your life anyway.
Your accent is not a flaw. It's part of who you are. And the right people find it interesting. They find your perspective interesting because you come from somewhere different. And that is genuinely valuable.
Now, making that first connection is one thing, but how do you keep it going? How do you turn one nice conversation into an actual friendship?
I think a lot of learners have the first conversation and then just let it fade because they don't know how to follow up without it feeling weird.
And the fear is real, right? What if I reach out and they don't respond? What if it's awkward?
But here's the thing, following up is not desperate, it's normal. After a good conversation, you can say, hey, it was really nice talking to you. We should do this again sometime. That's it. That's all you need.
And social media makes this so much easier now. Hey, can I follow you on Instagram? Is such a low pressure way to stay connected. And then the friendship can build gradually. A comment here, a funny post there, without any single big scary moment.
And I also want to say something for anyone who feels like they've been trying and it's just not working. Making friends is hard for everyone, not just language learners. Making real, genuine friends as an adult is difficult for most people regardless of language.
Native speakers struggle with this too. Loneliness is not a language problem, it's a human problem. So if you've been putting in the effort and it hasn't clicked yet, please don't blame your English.
Think about where you're looking instead. If you love books, a loud party is probably not the right place. A book club might work better. If you love sports, a gym class might work better than a networking event. Find the environments where people are already gathered around something you love, because that shared interest does most of the work for you.
And one more thing, being a good friend starts before you have a friend. Practice being warm and curious and genuinely interested even in small everyday interactions with a classmate, with a neighbor, with a cashier. Those tiny moments of warmth add up, and they make you the kind of person that people want to be around.
And don't compare your social life to what you see online. People share their best moments. You're not seeing the quiet evenings, the canceled plans, the loneliness. Everyone has those, even the people whose lives look most connected.
There's real courage in putting yourself out there in another language. Every time you start a conversation in English, every time you reach out to someone new, that takes courage. And that courage deserves to be recognized, even when the connection doesn't happen right away.
Because some of the best friendships start from the most unexpected moments. A shared complaint, a comment in an online forum, a laugh at exactly the same time. You never know which tiny moment will turn into something real. So don't dismiss the small ones. Be present for all of them.
Okay, challenges for this week. 3 things to try. Challenge 1, start one small conversation with someone new. Just one. It can be tiny, a compliment, a shared observation, a simple question. Just open one door this week.
Challenge 2, the next time you're in a group conversation and want to say something, use one of these phrases to jump in. Oh, can I add something? Or wait, actually, try it once. See what happens.
And challenge 3, If you already have a friend you speak English with, reach out to them this week. Send a message, share something funny, ask how they are. Because friendships, like languages, need regular attention to grow.
Quick recap before we go. We talked about how friendships start from tiny shared moments, not big, perfect conversations. We talked about small talk as a safety signal, not a boring topic. We covered how to join group conversations and what to do when you don't understand something. We talked about following up and why it's not weird, it's necessary. And we talked about the fact that loneliness is a human problem, not a language problem.
And the biggest takeaway from today, you don't need perfect English to make a real connection. You just need to show up, be warm, and be genuinely interested in the person in front of you. The English will follow.
If today's episode helped you even a little, please hit the like button. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps more people find this podcast.
Subscribe if you haven't already. Episode 9 is coming very soon. And leave us a comment this week. Have you ever made a real friend through English, or is that something you're still working toward? We read every single comment.
And if you know someone who's learning English and feeling a little disconnected, share this episode with them. Sometimes all you need to hear is that someone else felt the same way, and that it gets better.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in episode 9.
Goodbye, everyone, and go say hi to someone today. You never know where it might lead.
Actually, wait, before we go, I want to add one more thing, because I feel like we haven't talked about online friendships yet, and I think for a lot of learners today, that's actually where connection starts first.
Right, and I think online is where a lot of learners feel safest to begin with, because there's less pressure. You have time to think before you type. You're not on the spot in real time.
And the great thing about online communities is that you can find people who share your exact interests. Gaming, cooking, music, whatever it is. And when you're talking about something you're both passionate about, the language kind of fades into the background. You stop thinking about grammar, you start thinking about the thing you love.
That's honestly when the best conversations happen, when you forget you're even speaking English.
And online friendships can be a really good stepping stone, too. If in-person English conversations still feel scary, start online. Build your confidence there. Let the language grow in a lower pressure space first.
There's no shame in that. Building gradually is not weakness, it's smart.
I also want to talk about something that comes up a lot when learners try to connect with native speakers specifically, because sometimes there's this gap. Not a language gap exactly, more of a cultural gap. References you don't get, jokes that don't land, a feeling that you're slightly out of step.
Oh, I know that feeling very well. You understand every word someone says, but you still feel like you're missing something.
And that's real. Culture is part of language, and cultural fluency, understanding the references, the humor, the unspoken rules, takes time. Even more time than linguistic fluency in some ways.
So what do you do in those moments, when you understand the words but not the meaning behind them?
Honestly, ask. Sorry, I'm not sure I got that reference. What does that mean? Most people are genuinely happy to explain, and it often opens a really interesting conversation about where you're from and how things are different there.
Right. Your background becomes a feature, not a limitation, because you bring a different perspective that the other person doesn't have.
Exactly. And the more you engage with English language culture, films, music, podcasts, books, humor, the more those gaps close naturally over time. You don't need to force it. Just keep showing up and keep engaging.
One thing I really want to say to anyone who is in a new country and trying to make friends in English, it is okay if it takes longer than you expected. Adjusting to a new culture while also speaking a new language is genuinely one of the hardest things a person can do. Give yourself credit for doing it at all.
And reach out to other learners too. Don't only look for native speaker friends. Some of the most meaningful connections you can make are with other people who are going through the same journey as you, who understand exactly what it feels like to search for a word, to feel out of place, to celebrate a small victory like finally understanding a joke.
Those shared struggles create a really powerful bond, sometimes more powerful than anything else.
And finally, I want to say this clearly. You are not too quiet, you are not too foreign, you are not too imperfect. You are someone with a whole life and a whole perspective and a whole way of seeing the world. And the right people, the ones who will actually become your friends, will find that worth knowing.
So keep going, keep showing up, Keep being yourself in English. The connections are coming. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but they are coming. Because that is what happens when you show up consistently as yourself.
And you're already doing the hard part. You're here, you're learning, you're trying. That matters more than you know.
Okay, now we're really done.
Now we're done. Thank you, everyone. See you in episode 9.
Goodbye, and go make a friend today, even a tiny one.